Well, we have an invitation for you today. Over the years, working with hundreds of people, we've seen people experience the power of the body to nourish, cleanse, and heal itself by following a high nutrient dense whole foods eating plan.
Well, and all this actually started with ourselves, wasn't it? We saw it in our own lives and then started sharing it and saw it repeat, repeat, repeat.
So we'd like to invite you to do a 3-day experience of high nutrient dense.
Mm-hmm.
And where will they find it, the high nutrient dense plan?
It's on the website under resources. There's a sheet. You go down to the bottom of the resource page and you have the whole thing is downloadable.
Good. So give it a go. And what I love to say is prove us wrong. Try it for yourself without any little extra this or that, because that really dilutes the experience, and see what your body shows you about how grateful and whatever it expresses it is for you making these healthy choices.
Yeah, it's so great what we experienced in our lives and saw happen in so many other people's lives is that the symptoms just start falling away. You know, dealing with symptoms traditionally is you take a medication or you do this or you do that, trying to manage the symptom. And what's beautiful is with the high nutrient dense food plan and lifestyle, they disappear. And the reason for that is that symptoms, as we talked about, did we talk about in the last blog, we were talking about this new way of looking at health. Symptoms are just a way of the body telling us that there's something off here. It's kind of like if you have a clean river and you start dumping mud in, well, that mud, it muddies the whole river. And so if we eat other than the high nutrient dense, then we have a muddy river because we're putting things in that the body has trouble dealing with. It's like mud in the river. And when there's mud in the river, a symptom occurs. You know, it can be like arthritis. Now, they say arthritis is the result of inflammation. Well, what causes inflammation? It's what's in the bloodstream.
Yeah, inflammatory foods that we're ingesting again and again.
Yeah, or high cortisol, you know, which comes from kind of
stress,
not nutritious thinking.
Yeah, true.
And so, it has to do with this kind of muddied bloodstream, you could say. So,
how do we clean them up?
Yeah, well, basically, we just stop putting the mud in, and then the body, like a river, is always refreshing itself. The body can restore that clean river. It'll be clean again, and then the symptoms are suddenly gone. And there's a parallel to this in terms of the nature of the mind, too, that I thought is quite interesting to take a look at. And that is that in the same way that low nutrient dense foods or processed foods and inflammatory foods can pollute the bloodstream and create symptoms of pain and difficulty of movement or whatever in the body, there are thoughts. You know, when we get in a low mood, when we're being judgmental or critical, comparing ourselves to others or comparing ourselves to a standard about ourselves, you know, I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, whatever. The nature of those thoughts tend to kind of pollute the natural stream, the natural flow of vitality in our mental world and create symptoms in a way. I mean, they can actually create physical symptoms, headaches and different things like that. But more than that, it's on the feeling level. And when I'm comparing myself to others, I don't feel good.
Yeah, I start to go into a low mood.
Right. And so in the same way, when we have a symptom of pain or inflammation in the body, that can be like a warning light on the dashboard of our car. What do we do if the warning light comes on? Typically we pull over and check it out. We stop doing what we were doing. And in the mental world, if we want to look at the nature of the mind, if we find that we're in a low mood, one of the things that we can do is we can just pull over.
Yeah.
We can let that settle and see what really is going on. Because I know for me, looking back in my life, I would go through periods of just really beating myself up, and I wouldn't let it go.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing now that those are just thoughts I'm generating and holding on to. And the thing I was judging myself about, that circumstance was really pretty neutral. I was giving a meaning to it where I wasn't living up to what I thought it should be. But interestingly, when I would check with other people, they didn't see I was falling short by any means. And so we often put a meaning onto a situation that isn't completely accurate. It's like we're seeing through these colored glasses. We've talked about that before. And when we just settle, when we let that thinking go, when we let it flow on by, the way a river flows on by, the way our bloodstream moves on through, it filters itself. It cleans itself up. It's like self-correcting, self-regulating. And when the mind settles and that critical thinking passes, what's left is this natural vitality and actually kind of a positivity. That life, I think who we really are, is really what we would call positive. Always expanding, always generous, always loving. That's what...
Always often joyful.
Often joyful.
Yeah.
It seems to be the nature. I mean, look at a young child.
Right.
You know, they go through ups and downs in terms of their moods, but generally speaking, they don't seem to be caught in their little mind traps or thought castles, like Connie calls them.
Yeah.
And the result is they're giving expression to this nature of who they are.
Which is so vibrant and alive and joyful and clear and fun.
Right. So when, on the physical level, we're giving the body what it needs to keep that river clean, it thrives. It's energetic, clear, and joyful.
High nutrient dense whole foods.
Whole foods. And on the mental level, if we find that we're feeling in a low mood, that's the result of the same thing. It's like we aren't nourishing ourselves mentally. And we don't nourish ourselves mentally with positive thinking per se.
Yeah.
We just have to let go of the negative thinking.
Relax.
Right, because to lay positive thinking over negative thinking is still thinking.
Yeah.
If we let go of the thinking, it will pass naturally, and we will have expression of who we really are. That will come up through our thoughts, but in a natural way from the intelligence that's innate within our true nature.
So beautiful. Now I want to talk more about food. We made the most amazing bread. And what it is manna bread. It's made from sprouted rye berries. And we did something different. We used to make this in our restaurant, and it was good. But this was really good.
Well, we like it.
Yeah, so what you do is you sprout the sprouts until the tail is as long as the grain. And then you drain it, fill it up 2/3 with kombucha and 1/3 with purified water, and let it set soaking on the counter for a couple of days. And that turns it into more of a sourdough taste. And then we mix them up and add raisins and cinnamon. Oh, it is so good. So it's really easy once you've got your sprouts done. And we'll give you all the details below. And the sprouting's a cakewalk, but it takes several days. That's the only thing. You just kind of have to wait a bit to make your bread.
Yeah, so this is bread. This is not your typical yeasted bread. It's just ground, sprouted whole grain, so it's quite dense, but very tasty.
Very tasty.
We think you'll like it.
So give it a go. And remember, lots of recipes are on the blog. Just go up and click the recipe tab.
Yeah, so we've got the high nutrient dense sheet that you can download from the resource page, and lots of recipes that are all high nutrient dense. It'll fit that high nutrient dense profile.
And if you want more information about high nutrient dense eating, or you want more information about how to get out of a busy mind and live more of who you really are, let us know in Contact Me above, or in the comments below.
Okay. Lovely to see you again, or be with you again, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Bye-bye now.
Bye.